Despite the drought in recent years, Star Wars gaming announcements have been coming in thick and fast so far in the last few months. With LEGO Star Wars on the way and at least 3 other titles announced so far, including Ubisoft's RPG, the Knights of the Old Republic remake, Electronic Arts and Respawn have just announced not 1, but 3 new titles in development by Respawn, who is taking over the EA side in their relationship with Lucasfilm Games, which will hopefully also calm at least some fears about EA itself. The first of these games is one we've known was coming for a while, a new title in the Jedi series following up on Jedi Fallen Order. While we don't have too many details about the games being announced, this is one which has basically been expected for a long time now, and is probably the furthest in development and closest to something we'll actually be able to see, though there's few details in the announcement post, which I'll leave in the description. Second is a game with similarly sparse details, a first-person shooter developed by a new team at Respawn itself under Peter Hirschman, who has a long history of involvement in Star Wars titles under the old LucasArts, including on the original Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2, and Empire at War. We again don't know any details about this game, but it'll be interesting to have a new Star Wars FPS title which isn't set in the Battlefront franchise. The announcement post at the start does talk a lot about Respawn's narrative skills, so that is something that we can probably expect to be focused on in the game itself as well. I would hope that there would also be a multiplayer component, but focusing on a story-based first-person shooter could be cool. It's something we haven't really seen in a long time. Finally, and probably most interesting so far, is a new Star Wars strategy game produced by Respawn in cooperation with a brand new studio only formed about 6 days ago, Bit Reactor, helmed by Greg Fordish. While there's been similarly few details announced officially about this strategy game, there was another article last week where Greg, former art director at Firaxis, spoke a bit about the goals of the company, saying they want their titles to be competing for Game of the Year in a way that strategy games have kind of fallen out of the conversation in recent years. While Star Wars strategy may make people think of real-time strategy like Star Wars Empire at War, or even something like Rebellion or Galactic Battlegrounds, the background of these developers at Firaxis is in the XCOM games, and the points of comparison for the strategy genre heading into the modern times that Greg drew were between Gears Tactics and Mario Rabbids, 2 other more XCOM-style strategy games, generally more defined as turn-based tactics rather than real-time strategy, which is a separate subgenre. The fact that Greg was saying that while they are focusing on PC and console development, that mobile devices have also opened up the strategy space a lot, does also reinforce this, at least to me, that we are probably getting a Star Wars game that is a lot more like XCOM. Of course, this is still just speculation and not official, though I think it's pretty safe speculation. We do know from recent emails that other companies like Petroglyph are still pushing for a real-time strategy title, which is something that this title would hopefully only help with rather than interfere with. With so many new games being announced, the license holders now seem to be more willing to head in the more is more direction than prior leadership under EA themselves, who only put out about 4 games in their time as being the sole publisher allowed to handle the Star Wars license. This is basically in one post almost as many Star Wars games announced as we got in that entire period, so there's clearly a lot to look forward to. That's going to do it for today though. Let me know in the comments which of these games you're most interested in, the new Jedi game, the FPS, or the strategy game.